Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, we're going to react to 4 teenagers reacting to a life sentence. I just can't think of what would be worse. You know, you're not even a fully grown person yet. Like, you're 14, 15, you've just gone through puberty, you're just discovering really what the world is like and stuff. And the rest of your life is going to be spent behind bars. Crazy. What have you done? What have you done? You've just thrown it all away.
This is McKenzie Sherill. She is a 17-year-old who was found guilty of murder for causing a car crash that killed her boyfriend and his friend.
McKenzie decided death was the ultimate goal that day. This was not reckless driving. This was murder.
Sherilla's boyfriend, Dominic Russo, and his friend, Davian Flanagan, were in the car when she crashed into the side of a commercial building outside of Cleveland, going 100 miles per hour. Both men were
100? Jesus.
once dead at the scene, and Sherill survived. Prosecutors argued that the teen had a toxic relationship, and Sherill had made violent threats against her boyfriend.
Premeditated.
She tried to break into his house.
Correct.
Reportedly, she crashed her car on purpose because she wanted to kill her boyfriend, and that his friend was just collateral damage. The prosecutor said the intent was obvious upon seeing that video, that there was only one goal.
You see her driving very calmly and making the right turn, and then all evidence indicates she immediately put the pedal to the metal and drove straight into a building at 100 miles per hour. I think those really demonstrated to us that this was no accident.
And a few days before the crash, she allegedly took the same route to plot the crime. This is where the judge now finds her guilty.
Count 1. Finds the defendant, McKenzie Sherill, guilty of murder, to wit Dominic Russo.
She now stands up to be placed in handcuffs as she continues to tear up.
Count 2. Finds the defendant, McKenzie Sherill, guilty of murder, to wit Davian Flanagan.
Sherill now has a moment to speak before her sentencing.
The families of Dom and Davian, I'm so deeply sorry. I hope one day you can see I would never let this happen or do it on purpose. I wish I could remember what happened. I'm just so sorry. I'm heartbroken.
There was no medical condition that caused this as an accident. There was no mechanical failure of the car. A failed suicide attempt is not a defense to murder. There's a very good likelihood, McKenzie, that you will spend the rest of your life in prison. She's sentenced on count 1, 15 years to life. Count 2, 15 years to life, to be served concurrent to each other.
So 15 years to life times 2, does that mean 30 years? Or because she said concurrently, they're both going to run at the same time, so she could get out in 15 years. I don't know here. Just crazy, to be so young and capable of doing such a, evil thing, really.
The judge just sentenced her to 15 years to life in prison. This is Aiden Fuji, who pled guilty in court for the murder of his classmate when he was only 14 years old.
Having fun in a cop car.
Yep. Fuji was classmates with a 13-year-old girl from Patriot Oaks Academy in St. Johns County, Florida. Fuji stabbed her 114 times.
Whoa!
Her dead body was later recovered from the woods. After Fuji was arrested, he can be seen in the back of the cop car taking Snapchats. Now this video shows Fuji and his parents in the interrogation room.
The Snapchat that you did was not very smart.
Like, you're all over the internet, Negro. This is serious.
It's very serious.
This is no joke. This is your whole life. Your whole life.
And ours.
And ours.
A video from prosecutors showed Fuji and the girl allegedly walking together right before she was murdered. Then about 90 minutes later, the video Fuji allegedly running away from the area where the body was found.
114 stab wounds, 49 defensive wounds, 35 wounds to the head and neck, 29 to the back and shoulder, and 6 fatal wounds.
After Fuji pled guilty,
This kid is a psychopath, man. You could just see it. This kid is a psycho. Good thing they put him away now, because this kid will do it again and again and again.
first-degree murder, the judge now hands down his sentence.
Having entered a plea of guilty to the crime of first-degree murder, I sentence you to life in prison. Because of your age, you are eligible for review of the sentence in 25 years.
After Fuji was sentenced, he stood still with a little movement. This is Willard Miller and Jeremy Goodale, and at just 16 years old, they are both charged for the murder of their high school Spanish teacher. Reportedly, it was over a bad grade.
We then moved her off of the trail, where I then struck her, and she died as a result.
Miller and Goodale went to Fairfield High School in southeastern Iowa. Nohema Graber was the Spanish teacher at the school, and Miller was one of her students. After he received a bad grade from Graber, he and his friend Goodale planned to kill her.
We discussed a general plan. I'll stand up here, look out, wait for Miss Graber to show up.
Graber went for her usual walk at Chautauqua City Park. The boys knew that as they stalked her and they waited to ambush her.
Here she comes, and she walked by and hit her in the back of the head, and then I said, "Oh shit, make sure she's dead." So we hit her a couple more times.
They then dragged her into the woods and beat her to death with a baseball bat.
After that,
Can't believe this. I can't believe this, man. This is crazy. Like, is it the parents' fault that they raised such a monster? Or is it just something in their brain that was always there, despite whatever parenting they got? This is unreal. To be 16 and capable of doing something like this.
there wasn't really a plan beyond that. Like, hide the body, bury the body, save the body. At that time, we were going to hide the body. I guess in our arrogance, we kind of assumed that nobody would ever find her.
Not long after, both boys were arrested. Court documents allege that the witness who knew Goodale showed law enforcement Snapchat messages that showed Goodale and Miller's involvement in the murder. One of the Snapchat messages saying, "Point of view, you're my Spanish teacher, and this is the last thing you see," followed by "Time to hide a body." Jeremy Goodale would later plead guilty and testify against his best friend Miller.
I understood that he had the intent to kill Mrs. Graber.
Get out, man. You are both guilty. Don't even try it. Don't even try that.
Is your plea to murder in the first degree guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
This is the moment that Goodale gets to speak before his sentence.
I've had time to think on what to say, and I'm sorry. Truly sorry. Every day I wish I could go back and stop myself. I can't comprehend losing a loved one in such an awful way.
And now the
man rot in prison. Rot in prison. Rot.
Judge hands down his sentence.
The defendants shall be sentenced to life with the possibility of parole after 25 years.
Now for Miller. This is him apologizing before he receives his sentence.
I'd like to take this opportunity to...
Wow, he's laughing. Can you see that? Did you see his mouth? He's smiling.
Before he receives his
Look at
sentence.
I'd like to take this opportunity to wholeheartedly accept responsibility for the role that I've played in the murder of Nohema Graber. To the family, I'm sincerely sorry for the distress that I've caused you and the devastation. And I ask that I'm given a chance, and I don't want to be institutionalized. I don't want to be in so.
Given a chance. Did you give her a chance? Did you give the teacher a chance? Fuck off.
Forget about what matters, where I come from, and look forward to getting through this.
And now the judge has some final last words.
The defendant, Willard Noble Chaden Miller, should be sentenced to life with the possibility of parole after 35 years.
Miller seems to be completely unfazed. This is Rachel Schoaf and Sheila Eddy, who are both in court today for the murder of their friend when they were only 16 years old.
Their scheme was to hide knives on their bodies and to attack Skylar at an agreed upon moment.
In Star City, West Virginia, Schoaf and Eddy were friends with 16-year-old Skylar Neese. Reportedly, Schoaf and Eddy decided they didn't like Neese anymore, so they planned to kill her.
Sheila Eddy and Rachel Schoaf carried out that plan. Together they stabbed and killed Skylar.
After Schoaf's confession, both teens were arrested. Schoaf agreed to plead guilty to second-degree murder in exchange.
Imagine that. I don't like you anymore, so I'm going to delete you. Like...
cooperation in the case.
I'm so sorry. I don't know if there's a proper way to make this apology because there are not even words to describe the guilt and remorse that I feel each day for what I've done. I hurt the Neese family and those who love Skylar. I hurt my parents and shamed my family. May God bring eternal peace to Skylar and the entire Neese family.
After securing a plea deal, the judge now gives Shoaf her sentence.
Rachel Shoaf, it is the sentence of the court that you be imprisoned in the West Virginia State Penitentiary for a period of 30 years.
But she will have the possibility of parole in 10 years. And now for Eddie.
It is the sentence of the court that you be imprisoned in the West Virginia State Penitentiary for the rest of your natural life. That sentence is technically with mercy, which makes you eligible for parole after you have served 15 years.
Man, no man. I don't think any of these people honestly should be released, man. Because every single one of them, it was premeditated, or at least it was obvious to me that they wanted to do it and they did it. You know, so who's to say that in future, like, they may be put in a high pressure situation and they make the same choice again? You know, I don't know. I'm sure people are going to argue for, you know, people can be rehabilitated, which is true, I suppose. The guy, though, who stabbed that poor girl 140 times, man, nah, don't let him out. Don't let him out. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.